So, and it really fits in well with permaculture. And as Patrick said, I'm the program director of the Valley Permaculture Alliance. And if you don't know what permaculture is, we'll talk about that in a minute. But we are an organization, a nonprofit that provides education to people in the Phoenix metropolitan area on really how to apply more sustainable practices to the way that they live, the way that they grow their own food, and even the way if they don't grow food in their yard, even the way that they actually just maintain their own property. So I'll start. I'll let everybody come in. We know the session in the big room just got out, so no worries. Come on in. I was killing time till y'all got here. And this is fairly informal. I've got lots of pictures. As they say, pictures 1,000 words. So we'll hold questions till the end. I'll be glad to take all of your questions. But this is really meant to give you an idea. What is that funny word called permaculture? Did y'all come here because you didn't know what that word meant?
Yes.
Okay. How many of you heard that word before, permaculture? Some of you might even know a little bit about it already. That's great. Permaculture is, like, I always want to know, like, why do we even care about this concept of permaculture? And because, over the years, I think many people, probably not those of us in this room, have actually taken a kind of if I can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, it's not a problem, right? It's like my life is fine, my world is fine, but there's been so much happening around the world. I mean, I remember the Slumdog Millionaire and some of the other movies that came out that kind of showed us the conditions that other people lived in the country and how waste was being treated across the country. And when we look at what's in the news today, how much of our food is being contaminated by conditions that, we have no control over, and it's the food that we eat. So, why do we do this? Because there's so many problems happening all over the place. But there are also very, very many wonderful things. How many of you have heard of the slow food movement? Many of you might even be members of Slow Food USA or a local slow food chapter. How can we stop and take some time to taste what we grow locally, to have organic food, to eat food in its more whole state? Rising energy costs. I don't have to talk to you about any of you about that. You Californians, are you going to fill up here in Arizona before you go back?
Yes.
Yeah. I know where you can get it for $2.19 a gallon. 16th Street and Thomas in Phoenix. But there's all kinds of things happening all over the world. So permaculture is one of these systems that can actually help people to start to address these issues. Permaculture is a fairly new concept. It's actually only been around since the 1970s. It was coined by an Australian. The gentleman's name is Bill Mollison. He's the founder or founder of permaculture. And he saw that his own ecosystems where he was living were deteriorating and disappearing. And he wanted to stop to study what was going on and what did he do to reverse that. He had a student who followed him, David Holgram, and together they did the study of what was going to be, now we know, permaculture. And out of it, really starting in 1980, we had the first graduates of their programs. So permaculture has been around 30-some years. It's a new concept. And it's really a combination of two words, permanent agriculture, or sometimes people call it permanent culture. So it really is more of a philosophy and an approach to how we use land, how that weaves into how our population lives there, how we incorporate animals, water, how it all works together in a systemic approach to living, as I say, more gently on the earth. So sometimes people will say, well, I do permaculture because I mulch, like our kids. Or I do permaculture because I have chickens. Well, all those things are phenomenal and wonderful, and I'm glad you're doing them, but they are just one component of permaculture. Permaculture takes a look at the entire systemic approach. It can be not only your property, it can also be a community. Have any of you ever heard of the term transition towns?
Yes.
It's towns that are looking to grow and live more off the grid, if you will, because they know at some point we're not going to have enough oil. It doesn't matter how much it costs, it's just not going to be here. So they're starting to figure out how do we grow our fruit trees, Some people would argue with me that in Arizona, rare fruit is not sustainable. Someone told me growing my own vegetables in my